Hello, and thank you for joining me. I am Marcus Cage, and this is what I've been thinking with Marcus Cage. Um, in this video, I wanted to talk about a caller that called into the David Pakman show. Some of you guys might have already seen this. I know I'm a little bit behind, but this is something I wanted to cover because I don't think I've heard anybody. Um, though I my point of view is similar to Crystal and Kyle's. There is a mild difference, and that nuance is important. So I will play that clip for you from the David Pakman show. Let you guys hear it if you have not heard it yet. I will try to, I guess, surmise their Crystal and Kyle's point of views, and then I will elaborate on the difference and my approach and my thinking to this whole issue. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you.
Mike from Boston, we haven't heard from for a little while, I guess. What's going on with you, Mike?
Hi, David. Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I just want to respond to this and kind of get your view on it. A couple callers ago, I'm really getting sick of these delusional people out there. And some of the people on other progressive podcasts and blogs, people, like Crystal Ball on Rising, and I know he's your friend Kyle Slinsky on Secular Talk, who are just so anti-Joe Biden. And they seem to be out for blood for him. And I really can't understand why. If this crisis right now that we are going through, it does not signal to people that Trump must be removed at all costs.
Right.
You are not only irresponsible, you are borderline selfish and not caring about the lives that are being lost.
So let's take that piece by piece. Let's take that piece by piece, Mike. So first of all, I have no idea what Crystal and Kyle have been saying. Again, I just don't watch shows. I work on my show, 12 hours a day, and then I relax with some stuff that's not political content. But so let's go through it in pieces. First of all, remove Trump at all costs. Not if you're going to replace him with something worse, right? So I've made the calculation that Biden is better than Trump. That's why I am going to vote for Joe Biden to replace Trump. If you give me an option that's worse than Trump, then I say keep Trump because I want to do harm reduction. That part probably we agree on, right?
Well, yeah, but the only realistic choice is you're either going to...
I agree. At this point in time, these are the options. It's Joe Biden or it's Donald Trump. Now,
right.
Why would Crystal... I'm taking your word that Crystal and Kyle are very much anti-Trump, as you point out. My guess is if you ask them why, they would say that it's because maybe they don't see Biden as better than Trump, or they see Biden being elected as a path to something that doesn't fix the problem in the longer term. You'd have to ask them, right? You're asking me about stuff I haven't seen. My guess is if you ask them, they would have a different perspective about, and they would be able to articulate why they are as anti-Biden as you described them to be. I've made my view clear, which is when I look at history, I don't see accelerationist theory as having worked and accelerationist perspectives as having worked. I see we have succeeded through getting people in power who will make responsible choices to the Supreme Court, which will then uphold the improvements that are made by the people that we elect. That's what I've seen in the progressive era, the New Deal era, and the civil rights era. So that's how I have established my framework. And I think what you're pointing to is somebody who has a different framework.
I would say so, yes. But I just don't get the point. I don't think I look at the landscape in the country, the way that this crisis is being handled, the way that the last 3.5 years have gone, and I don't think this country can handle another 4 years of Donald Trump in any way.
I happen to agree with you. Listen, so everybody has to figure out what works for them. As I said before, somebody doesn't want to vote Biden because they actually believe the country is better off with Biden losing and Trump getting 4 more years. then they shouldn't vote Biden, right? But I want everybody to be clear. And there's a contingent that I'm seeing, not Kyle and Crystal, but stuff like I'll look at my subreddit each day and I'll look at my Twitter mentions each day, where there are people who are doing an anti-Biden thing, but they're not actually saying they think Trump is better. So then it's like, well, what are you just posturing, or are you trying to get a certain reaction? Are you trying to get Joe to come beg for your vote or whatnot? Like, I don't need any of that stuff. I'm plenty busy. I'm just like, Biden's better. I voted for Biden.
They're mad that they didn't get their guy, and their guy was Bernie Sanders. And I was a Bernie Sanders guy.
Okay.
And I understand the disappointment.
Yeah.
But, sometimes when there's no great choice and there's no right answer, you do what you got to do and take the best option available to you, is all I'm trying to
That's my perspective. And, what I think is important to do is I don't see any benefit in going around and attacking the motives of Crystal and Kyle. Like, again, I'm going by what you're telling me, but if they've come to the conclusion that they're never voting Biden, and I'm not saying that that's what I don't know if that's what they're doing, but if they did, my instinct is to assume, again, because I know them to some degree, I assume that they've come to that conclusion through some different framework than I have, rather than they don't care about death, like you said. I mean, clearly they both care about death. I know them well enough to know they care about people dying. I'm guessing they're working with a different framework.
Right. I guess my point is that I guess what I'm trying to say is that in my opinion, in my view, if you really care about the well-being of this country, and you were a Bernie Sanders supporter or an Elizabeth Warren supporter, and you're looking at this election and you're just going to say, well, you know what, if I couldn't just get my guy, if we can't have it all or nothing right now, then
right.
I don't really care what happens to the country. I'm going to vote third party or not vote at all and do whatever. I think you're extremely off base and extremely selfish and not really caring about a lot of the suffering that's going on with some of these people right now.
Yeah, so Mike, it sounds like your frustration is that there are people who are coming to different conclusions than you, and you're frustrated by that because for you, the conclusion you've come to is so obvious.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I was going to vote for whoever the Democratic nominee was. That's just how I went into this whole, election cycle, which was going, because I've seen what happens when you make irresponsible choices, and I just think they're being irresponsible. Thanks, David.
All right, Mike from Boston, great to hear from you.
All right, so the caller, as you heard, he feels, I wrote down a couple of notes so I can comment back to this. He feels that people who do not see it as a clear-cut choice for Joe Biden, that Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils, and Donald Trump. He feels that those people who have that point of view of not voting for Biden, that we are irresponsible, that we are selfish, that we are uncaring also, and that we don't care about loss of lives and things like that. To that caller, Mr. Mike from Boston, and to David himself, you guys might see that Biden is clearly a better choice. But I also see things very differently. And I also pay attention to what I think will get done versus what will be talked about getting done. One big thing which I've noticed with Trump, which I'm not an advocate for Trump, I'm putting that out for first thing. Trump runs his mouth a whole lot. A whole lot. Every little thing which Trump tries to get done, which is nefarious, he runs his mouth, the media catches him, we all scream and holler to high heavens. It's annoying, it's aggravating, I wish we didn't have to do that, but it gets stopped. A lot of the things which Trump tries to get done don't go anywhere. Trump, for one, still doesn't understand government and how a lot of these things work. So he bungles and screws up things. He delays things, and also he's lazy on top of it. He doesn't get a lot of things done. But Biden, on the other hand, the negative things that Biden will want to get done will get done because nobody will be out there being a fool talking about it and screwing it up. a lot of things happened under the Obama administration, or I should say Obama Biden administration, which most of you on the left, especially Obama supporters, have no clue about, because MSNBC and CNN did not tell you, so you don't know, and you refuse to go outside of anything that's congratulatory or friendly to Obama or Democrats in a whole. So you're never going to hear any of the actual truths that go on. We, on the other hand, we actually care about these things. So we do our due diligence to search on our own. I don't need Joyanne Reed to tell me something. I don't need Chris Hayes or Rachel Madcow or any of the Jake Tap Dance. I don't need any of these people from mainstream media to explain things to me. One, because most of them are full of shit. Two, because they make money to parrot certain narratives that they want you to think, whether it's necessarily true or not. I mean, people who consider CNN a serious news organization, I mean, it blows my mind, anybody who thinks that. I years ago, on not even an actual real political story, they showed me their true colors. I remember, and I don't know if anybody out there listening to me remembers this, Anna Nicole Smith, when she passed away, CNN covered her as if like the Queen literally died. This was around the clock, nonstop coverage. I mean, it felt like it was forever. Now, in that meantime, when they're covering her, now who knows? Maybe it was a week, maybe it was 2 weeks. I think it was longer than that. But on top of that, you have all of these different people. You have people who are being murdered, people who are being deported, people who are being sex trafficked, people do all of these things that are going on. And CNN does not give a damn about it. CNN is Anna Nicole Smith, and she's going to inherit this much money. And well, how much money is that? Whoa, that's going to be a lot. How much after the taxes? They did not care about news. And at that point, that told me all I needed to know. They don't care about news. This is all a money game. How can they make money? Trump believes in being, verbose and likes to, be loud and braggadocious. That gets ratings. That's what CNN wants. I think that I think it does annoy them that he attacks them. But if he wasn't attacking them, I don't think that they would really care about his little carnival clown show that he keeps going. That on Trump. But back on to Biden. Biden, see, people talk about the harm which people are doing. And you can't look at me and tell me, but Trump is doing all this harm, and then sit up there and act like Biden is some kind of angel. Many of you guys feel like because he sat with Obama for 8 years, that somehow washes him of all his sins and he's all clean. And then people will say, well, you guys are bringing up old stuff. Let's walk back to a timeline for a second so you guys can understand this and remember this. Now, Joe Biden, before he was vice president, let's go back. What year was that? 2007, before he was vice president. Now, what was going on around that time? You had everything like falling apart with the whole recession. So besides bailout package from say 2006, all the way up to what, 2015. We're not going to nothing to go on. So if you can't go back to any of his legislative record or anything that he's actually done since 2006, you can't tell me that 6 years before what he did is not pertinent. You can't tell me speeches that he talked about, whether he actually got things accomplished or not. You can't tell me speeches that he talked about while he was a part of the Obama administration are irrelevant. You can't tell me when I watched a video of him sounding like Donald Trump, talking about the wall and all these Mexicans bringing drugs in and how corrupt Mexico is and all this stuff like that. He literally sounded just like Trump. I mean, Trump is what? Said some hateful, nasty crap. He tried a Muslim ban, which they shut his stupid ass down because he didn't even know how to cloak the fact that he's been a racist. Biden has that part figured out. And then what's the next thing you have? Him trying to build a wall, which he can't fucking get built. That's what we should be scared of, more than a guy who gets stuff done. That caller, Mr. Mike, sounded like a white male. So I don't think that he has to worry very much about the crime bill. The crime bill is not just some crap which happened back in the 90s. The crime bill is something which affects policing till this very day. The reason why we have mass incarceration, the reason why we have a lot of black males in prison, that's Joe Biden. Joe Biden did that. So I don't care how racist you think Trump is towards black people. Look at what Biden has done to black people. Do you not know about the redlining with Joe Biden? Mr. Mike over there talking about, well, obviously it's because you're a white male, dude. You ain't got to deal with what I got to deal with. You don't got to deal with redlining. You don't got to deal with the crime bill. You don't have to deal with none of these things that Joe Biden did. And you're not going to have to deal with the things that Joe Biden is going to do when he get in there. Because you know what? By the sound of your voice, I bet you're nice and affluent and doing very well. You have no clue what it's like for somebody in our shoes. So before you try to tell us that we're irresponsible, that we're uncaring. Also, notice this hat. This is a military hat. If I join the military, do you think that I'm uncaring? In fact, I guarantee you I'm probably 10 times more caring than you ever could be, Mr. Mike in Boston. We're not realistic. And the reason why we won't vote for Biden is because our candidate lost, and you're supposedly a Sanders supporter too. I call bullshit on you. And Mike, if you're Mr. Mike from Boston, you can hey, call me out on my channel. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Come and find me. Have at it. Because if you're a real Bernie supporter, you know what this is about. This is about policy. This is not about no fucking following the damn Democratic Party. This is policy. And Joe Biden is saying fuck you to every single Bernie supporter. And then you watch the DNC cheat. And I'm not talking about just when Obama brought his slimy ass out there and then made them drop out so they can all jump behind his creepy, dusty ass. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that we still don't have the results to Iowa right now. I'm talking about the fact that California, there's still issues with the voting. I'm talking about Texas. There's whole precincts where stuff is missing. You think all that shit's a fucking fluke? This stuff is not a fluke. So I'm not going to take a guy who is a shitty candidate, who is shitting on my community, attacked my community, and then when he was with Obama, Mr. Deporter-in-Chief, they were throwing blacks and Latinos out of this country like it was nothing. And then he's also vice president to the man who brought slavery back to Africa. And you're telling me how he is the lesser of two evils? And then it's about, well, it's because our guy lost. For a lot of people, it is because it wasn't done fairly. When you cheat somebody, when you fuck them over, they're not likely to want to help you out. I don't know. Maybe that's a strange concept for you, Mr. Mike in Boston. But I look at you before we even start talking about Tara Reid and the nasty way he gropes women on camera. You guys can demonize, you can smear Tara Reid all you want. But I saw how he was hugging up on Hillary Clinton and her arms are like this, how she feels grossed because she can see that. I saw how he holds his hands around on little kids the wrong way and his hand is sitting on an underage little girl's chest. You guys can play stupid and act like you don't see this fucking shit. But I can't. Mr. Mike in Boston or Mr. David Pakman, I see all this crap. And here's another thing which most of you guys don't understand. You talk about some freaking judges, worrying about some judges because we've elected the right people, David. Most of these people are fucking crooks, David. Most of them are crooks. So what are you talking about? We've elected people. The fact of, have you not looked at what's just happened with these last recovery bills and you think that we've elected good people? Are you on coke, David? Or do you not understand politics? Or are you just some kind of sheep herder who is online to get suckers like this dumbass? And then you pacify them instead of breaking things down and explaining to them. I mean, I don't really have a lot of respect for David Pakman anyway. So if you're listening to this, fuck you, David. Another thing I wanted to say, Kyle and Crystal, they're arguing on policy alone. They cannot support somebody who is literally going to fight every single thing they put up. Joe Biden is not going to be a friend. Not at all. All he is going to do, if he does anything, is he is going to take one of our policies and pervert it. And then when it doesn't work out, then you guys can say, see, lefty policies don't work. That's all that accomplishes. So leave me out of that. I want no parts of that. I am serious about policy, and I'm not going to take some half-ass bullshit measures from Joe Biden and be, well, hopefully we get better. This is what I've noticed. We have went further and further and further and further to the right. And you guys are going to tell me, well, if just this one time we do this, and then maybe, well, they might do. No. I've been doing this too long. I pay attention to politics. Some of you people, which I realize, only start paying attention when Obama got elected. That's when politics happen. So, that's what a normal presidency looks like. Oh, Trump's bad. You guys are fucking idiots. I've been paying attention to this shit since I was like a little kid. Like when kids were sitting there playing with baseball cards and trying to, figure out that stuff, I was learning about politicians. I was learning what these crooks have been doing. And then I listened to somebody like Mike, who this older gentleman who wants to look at people like me and think we're irresponsible. Maybe we just don't get it. No, it's you, dipshit, that doesn't get it. It's you. This is not voting for a team. This is trying to get something accomplished. Now, Kyle and Crystal, they're all about policy. They don't see a material difference between the two. And honestly, there's not very much material difference because when you start factoring in what a president actually does, president's not sitting up there doing healthcare and doing all this. That's not what the president does. President's doing foreign policy majority of the time. And if you are not engaged in foreign policy and what that person will do on foreign policy, then you're almost a waste to this whole discussion. Joe Biden is going to be doing foreign policy. He's going to be continuing the same crap that Trump is doing, the same crap Obama was doing, the same crap that Bush was doing. That's what you guys don't get. That's what I see. As a combat veteran who was injured, I don't want people like this in charge, period. So don't try to guilt me into voting for this piece of shit. Now, the reason why we will try to go third party is because we want to try to help build a third party so it can put pressure on this two-party system. We're trying to do something else. You guys are just trying to do the same old dumb shit over and over and over and over and over and thinking somehow this shit's going to work one of these times. Can you stop being Charlie Brown trying to kick the football? Lucy is going to move it every time. I don't know why this is so hard for you guys to comprehend. It's not a tough concept. It's not. Just do some freaking reading and some research and quit calling everybody else stupid until you actually do some real research and not what Rachel Maddow tells you, dumbass. As far as David talking about accelerationist theory, this is where I differ from those two. I actually believe in accelerationist theory because you know what I realize? When you have people like David Pakman, who is going to sheep herd people into the Democratic Party and put no pressure on them. And then when you have dumbasses like this caller, Mike from Boston, who wants to aggressively tell the people who are trying to fight for everybody that they don't care about anybody. You have a lot of people who don't know what's going on here. And they are the problem. We're not the problem. You are the problem. It is your duty to learn this information. It shouldn't be up to me and other people online to have to educate you on all the shit that's been going on throughout your lifetime, where most of you guys were adults with this shit going on and you did not care to actually open a newspaper, open a book, listen to anything. You just listen to whatever dumbass crap that comes on cable news. Okay, what are we doing? 4 years are up. All right. Pick the same old dummy we normally pick. You guys are the problem. That's the reason why I believe in accelerationist theory. Because there's too many stupid people that are going to keep going down this route. There are too many people who, in 4 more years, well, I know we got screwed over, but, you know, they say once we get elected, then we're going to try to do this. And then that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. And so the only way anything actually has changed in this country is it took for the heat to get turned up on people. I don't want that to happen, but I realize people, as long as they are comfortable, they are not going to push themselves out of their comfort zone to push for more. All the things which go on, I sat there and watched Stacey Abrams be, completely sell herself out to Michael Bloomberg. I watch her sell herself out to Joe Biden. What do you think those people do when they get in power if they're already selling out now? They turn into another Obama who tears up the rest of the world around us while kind of just stabilizing the status quo. Is that all you want? Do you guys want it to get to a point where the economy falls off a cliff, and then you have crazy ass people breaking into your house and attacking you? Is that the reality you want? This is the reality you're going to get because you guys are going to let things keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse because you keep doing the same dumb things over and over. You need to start trying to figure out other ways to get policy done instead of falling for the same failing institutions over and over. On that note, I think I've said enough. I think you guys get my point of view on it. If you disagree, let me know. Let me know. If you'd like to debate about it, let me know also. I'm perfectly fine to debate. On that note, we will leave it there. Hopefully you guys have a good one. Thank you.